Hello and welcome to the English Box. Today we are going to talk about modal verbs. On the whiteboard in front of you, we have some examples of modal verbs. We have should, can, may, could, might, ought to, shall, must, dare, and need. Some of these examples are better than others. For example, need and dare can also be used as main verbs, whereas could, can, may, and might, for example, can only be used as modal verbs. So why are modal verbs important and when do we use them? Well, we need modal verbs to express notions of permission, necessity, obligation, advice, and ability. Let's look at some examples to describe what I mean. I really must study harder because I have an exam tomorrow. Here the modal verb must expresses obligation. I can go to work whenever I want. Here the modal verb can expresses permission or perhaps ability. You should get your hair cut. You look really scruffy. Here the modal verb should expresses advice. May I take a short break? I don't feel very well. Here the modal verb may expresses permission. We also use modal verbs to express deduction. For example, I have a class of new students and I walk into the room. I speak English with them immediately and I'm carrying some English exercises and books underneath my arm. The students think he must be our new English teacher. Now imagine this situation. I walk into the room, I have some English books under my arm, but I start speaking to them in their native language. And they think perhaps he's a student or perhaps he's a teacher. He might be, or he may be, or he could be our new teacher. They're 50% sure, perhaps. Now imagine this situation. I walk into the room and I'm 5 years old. The students look at me and they think he can't be our new teacher. He's far too young. Now modal verbs have certain properties which make them modal verbs, which make them special. The first property is that they do not require an auxiliary verb in the negative or question form. So you say, he shouldn't watch so much TV, and not, he doesn't should watch so much TV. Number two, most adverbs come after the modal verb and not before. So you would say, I can never muster up the confidence to speak to him, and not, I never can. Number three, modal verbs have no regular past or future form. So you would say, I had to go on a diet, and not, I musted. Similarly, the past form of can is could, and the future form of can is I will be able to. Point number four. Unlike regular verbs, modal verbs have no S in the third person, so they do not conjugate in the same way in past, future, or in present. So you would say, he should do more exercise, and not, he should do more exercise. Point number five. Modal verbs, or most modal verbs, are not followed by to before the subsequent verb, with the exception of ought to. So you would say, he might want to come out with us tonight, and you wouldn't say, he might to want to come out with us tonight. Now we have a quick activity, so pause the video, look through the sentences. In every sentence there is one mistake. Can you find the mistake? Moving on to the answers, here you can see all the corrected errors. I want to draw your attention to point number 7 particularly. Here we have the verb dare. It says, I daren't speak to him because he looks so fierce. We often use dare in the negative as a modal verb, so you do not need the auxiliary do. So you don't say, I don't dare, but I daren't. I daren't speak to him.